Hello everybody, my name is Lily. Welcome to today's video. I want to talk about college, specifically college majors, as well as I would like to put the disclaimer here that the majors I'm going to list I have listed as dumb majors. Not because I think the people who take them are dumb or should not have done it, but I think they're risky in the current landscape of the current world as a whole, especially here in the US. And I would like to say that if you are any of these majors, I have major respect for you, no matter what. I myself am going into what is more of a safe field for the current world. I'm a business student, and I chose that over education, which I would have loved. I chose not to do because I really care about my security. So when I talk about these dumb majors, I'm more talking about them dumb in the idea of the security of your finances. I am a finance student, but please be aware though, I highly respect all of these, especially I forget what people call them, but I'm going to go with the humanitarian majors. I'm major respect to any major. College is hard, especially when you're going into it and there's not always a guarantee for you to make a lot of money coming out of it. You spend a lot of money on it. Major respect. But let's go ahead and get started. I have a list of 3 specific majors and 2 general ones that I feel right now are really risky to take, just because of what's happening in the world, due to just changing and demographics and people's worldviews, as well as just what's becoming oversaturated in the market. There is a quite large supply of some of these majors and not a lot of demand anymore. And that's going to bring me up to my first one, which I feel like not a lot of people really consider, but that's computer science. I have been looking into computer science as a major out of just curiosity, and I have recently discovered that computer science majors have one of the highest unemployment rates right now. And it's not because it's a bad major to take. You get some really good skills, but there's a lot of computer science majors. A lot of parents told their kids to go into computer science because they'll make good money. And while that was true, especially during the pandemic, that's when everything went online, so we needed more computer science majors. Now they're all back in person, there's just not as big of a market. And while computer science majors, you're able to land a job, you'll be set. Computer science majors make a lot of money. That's if you're able to get the job. There are just not enough jobs right now for computer science majors to take up, especially new ones, especially with the market. The job market does not like new people right now. They want experienced people and not willing to let people build experience within their company. And because of that, computer science majors right now is just really, really risky in my opinion. But once again, this is all just my opinion. Let's go into another one, which is psychology. Psychology doesn't really have a reason to have a big demand, except for, I guess, just the growing mental health crisis in general. But the issue, though, with psychology majors is it's too oversaturated. I know a majority of my high school, if they went to college, they went into psych. Most people I know are psych majors in some way. My school specifically has a lot of nursing majors because it's a very big nursing school and nursing and business. But in general, psychology is a massive major right now, and it's because a lot of Gen Z grew up in not the best households and all have some sort of mental health issue, and we all want to help the world. We all think being a therapist is a good idea, and this is the one where I really think you should reconsider. Computer science majors, you can stick with it or not, but there are other ways to help the world, guys. It's not being a psych major. Once again, massive respect. Psychology is hard. I know AP Psych sucked in high school. I did not take it personally, but I had friends who did, and it looked like it sucked. But personally, psychology is just risky. There is way too much flooding on the market, and there's not enough stability in the market right now. Right now, it is incredibly hit or miss whether or not you get a good therapist, and it's tanking the market's viability and overall profits. That's risky. And psychology majors don't make as much as they think they do. For the amount of college they're going to have to go through, they're not going to make as much out of it. And that's one of the biggest issues with a lot of different majors, is that you're simply just not going to make back a good return on investment. It'll simply just be way too long, and you'll be stuck with way too much student debt unless you manage to get a full ride somewhere. The psychology majors, if you really want to help the world, please consider something else. I know nursing would be a great option. It should be just about as much time, but you at least get a higher chance. I will say, quick PSA for psych majors, nursing is actually a really good option. Nurses are in very high demand right now, and unlike with teachers, they're actually hiring. but who knows how long that will last for. We are currently in a health crisis in terms of doctors and nurses, especially nurses though. But psychology still seems like a little bit too risky right now. There's just these two specifically are the ones where there's just way too much supply in the market, and there's simply just not enough demand, no matter how you slice it. There is simply just not enough clients willing to take new people, and there's not enough ways to access it, and it's risky. Every major is risky, but these are the ones I feel like are just a bit too risky. And now I'm going to talk about one that is becoming risky for one reason only, and that is AI. I will not be talking about AI in this video specifically. I think AI is the worst, and it's taking away humanity from fine arts. But regardless of that, if you are an art major or a fine art major in any way, anything art related, I guess the only example, we'll get into the fine arts later in terms of like acting and all that. I'm talking about specifically art majors in this case. Anything like graphic design, art, anything in that realm, it's risky. It's risky thanks to AI. The best way for you to make a living with art these days is online. It's just how it is. Commission works, making art, selling prints at conventions. Those are all really good ways to make money as an artist. Not a lot of people go the traditional artist route. Or graphic design is another big area people tend to go down when it comes to art. And thanks to AI, though, companies have realized it's a lot cheaper to use AI even if their product is not as good. And it's not. Months ago at my college, I saw a flyer for an organization to join, and I could tell they had an AI image because it was meant to be a suit with a tie around it, except the tie was visible on the inside, except the tie was clearly supposed to be on the outside. So it just made no sense. It was very clearly an AI image. It was bad. It was just bad. It did not look very good. It was just, But if you're an art major right now, I encourage you to use art as a job, but don't go to college for it, especially right now with AI. Unless AI takes a random pitfall, which I have a feeling it won't. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and investors keep on putting more and more money into it. So I'm going to guess for at least the next 5 years or so, we're going to have some issues with AI. It's a problem. It's sad that big companies have realized they can just use soulless machines for their art instead of real artists. It's sad, but it's true. Even if you're in videography and cinematography, those are also risky because of how advanced AI is getting. And remember, guys, AI is stealing from real artists. The only reason you can have your AI stickers and AI videos is thanks to real work put out there by real humans. And you choosing to go down the route of AI, specifically art, is cruel and bad, and you're only thinking about yourself. Go fuck yourself. Not even about AI, though. Not even gonna hear it. But you're a bad person. I don't care. I don't care if you can't afford art. Art is a luxury. If you can't afford it, go fuck yourself. That does not give you the excuse to use AI. Because that's only taking from real artists. You only have that AI art thanks to real artists. But my art majors, it's hard out there. The next one is fine arts. Specifically talking about singing, dancing, acting, songwriting. These I have on here simply because it's risky. It's not being taken over by AI. It's not particularly an issue with supply and demand. It's just risky. You're either going to make a lot of money or no money. But thankfully, this is something I don't like to talk about. Most fine arts majors know that they're not going to make a lot of money. And they know the chances are slim. And a lot of fine art majors are in it because they are so into fine arts and dance and singing. And while I think it is a little bit, how do I put this, money hungry of colleges to have fine arts majors in general, just because, I mean, you don't necessarily need it. You can get plenty of acting skills and all the things you would need for a real career without going to college and going into debt. But it still exists for a reason. And I respect fine arts majors a lot. I myself did a lot of fine arts in high school, and I loved it. And I would never do it as a career. And anybody who's in the fine arts field knows they're probably not going to make a lot of money. But I still respect them. But it is still risky. So therefore, it's on this list. And for my final one, this one is specifically due to the current political sphere. And that is anything education-based. Teachers. Being a teacher right now, specifically going to college to be a teacher right now, is risky simply because we don't know what's going to happen with the Department of Education. And I am not going to talk about politics. I am simply just going to warn all of my fellow teachers. I say fellow because I myself right now am a tutor, and I've always wanted to be in education. I love education. I love teaching, even if I am not going to college for it. But it is risky. Right now, there is there's both so much demand and no demand at the exact same time for teachers. At the same time, every single school is desperately trying to hire teachers. At the same time, nobody wants teachers, because there's this new idea going around that teachers are useless and dumb and we don't need them and they don't teach anything, and they're just trying to teach gender to teachers, to kids, and brainwash them into being gay. And it sounds so crazy, but they genuinely believe that. People genuinely think that. Or they think teachers are getting paid too much because they get 2 months off. Any teacher ever has worked way more than any white-collar worker who works 40 hours a week. Teachers easily surpass that by a large margin and don't get paid nearly as much. And yeah, you could say it's glorified babysitting, but even if you were to pay them like how you would pay a babysitter per kid, it would still be infinitely more than they're currently making. But sadly, that's not the world we live in, no matter how passionate I am and how much I think teachers should get paid more. Because right now, teachers are just not being trusted. People think that teachers are just not doing a good job and that they should not be getting paid as much. And because of that, it's a risky world, and there's not a lot of room for growth right now. Being a teacher is hard, especially with selfish parents. For those of you guys raising an iPad kid, you're failing your kid, and you're going to blame it on the teacher when you are the one failing it. Teachers teach, but it can only be reinforced at home. So when you are not reinforcing it at home, you are failing as a parent, and then you're going to blame it on the teacher when they are doing their best. Because teaching a child will always be a 2-way streak. 3-way streak. It's up to the child, the parent, and the teacher. And it's always blamed on the teacher now, no matter what. And that makes me sad. And that means that if you are going to become a teacher, if you are going to college for that, my heart goes out to you. Even though it is such a really risky move right now, I hope it works out. I hope for all of these majors I have listed today, I hope it works out. Desperately. Because the people in these majors, except for maybe computer science and psychology, but I think most people are pretty passionate, are incredibly passionate. People in the art, people in fine arts, people in education are incredibly passionate people. And they are in it despite the fact that they know they will likely not get paid. And I hope things go better, especially for teachers. Teachers deserve to get paid more. Parents are the ones failing their children. The world is failing the children right now. There are so many people at my high school who should have not been allowed to graduate but were, because the school is just constantly trying to push out people in order to get their numbers up. And that makes me sad, because those people should not have graduated. They should have been held back probably multiple times at this point. No offense to them. But they were simply not ready, and I worry that they're out in the world right now not doing a very good job because school did not prepare them properly, because they're purposely pushing students out. But that is a talk for another day. I'm sorry this kind of ended on a downer note, but hopefully for all of you guys who are graduating from high school and starting to think about college, or even going into your junior and senior year and starting to think about college, I hope you will consider this when picking your major, because picking your major is very important. And if you care about financial stability, I would not pick any of these 5 right now, especially just right now. Maybe computer science will get better, maybe not, but either way, all 5 of these are way too risky in terms of financial stability. But if you're just doing it for the passion and knowing you probably won't get paid a lot, I salute you, and I respect that. But if you're gonna go financial wise, pick something else, because these are all just way too risky right now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know I did. I love you all so much. I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.